If I were to ask you, what is namaz? What would you say? For many of us, the answer might be, it's the 5 daily prayers, or it's the second pillar of Islam, and that is correct. But is that all it is? Is it just a ritual, a checklist of movements and recitations we complete each day? Today, I want to invite you to see your Salah not as a burden, but as a gift. Not as a duty, but as a divine dialogue. Let's uncover the meaning, the purpose, and the beautiful secrets hidden within every single takbir. If we are to truly understand the essence of namaz, to move beyond the mechanical repetition that can sometimes dull the sharp, brilliant edge of our faith, we must begin by dismantling the most common and yet most limiting definition we hold in our minds. We so often say, I have to pray. This statement, while technically true, carries a weight of obligation that can feel heavy, a box to be checked on the long list of daily tasks. It places Salah in the same category as completing a work assignment or doing the dishes, a necessary action, but one devoid of transcendent joy. The first and most profound shift in perspective is to stop saying, I have to pray, and to begin saying, I get to connect. This shift in a single word, from to get, is the difference between seeing a duty and receiving an invitation. It is the difference between approaching a king's tax collector and being summoned for a private audience with the king himself. This is the core meaning we must grasp. Salah is not a ritualistic transaction, it is a divine connection, a direct and intimate hotline established between the creation and the Creator. To appreciate the sheer magnitude of this, we must contemplate the nature of the one we are calling upon. This is not a call to a friend who might be busy, nor an email to a superior that may languish in an inbox for days. This is a connection to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Almighty, the All-Knowing, the sustainer of all that exists. The stars in their galaxies follow His command. The planets in their orbits turn by His will, and the very cells in our body divide and multiply by His permission. This is the entity we stand before when we raise our hands and say, Allahu Akbar. The mind struggles to comprehend the scale. We are a speck of dust in the cosmic desert, a fleeting breath in the timeline of eternity. And yet, this unimaginably powerful, infinitely majestic Creator has not only permitted us to speak to Him, He has commanded it. He has prescribed specific times, not for His own benefit, but for us, creating a structure within our chaotic lives to ensure we do not forget this most vital of relationships. He has, in His infinite mercy, opened a channel of communication and is waiting on the other end. The adhan, then, is not an alarm clock jarring us from our slumber or our work. It is a celestial notification, a gentle yet persistent reminder that your appointment is now. The caller is calling you to the ultimate success, to a moment of peace and profound significance. The moment of initiating this connection is itself a powerful act of liberation. The world we live in is a cacophony of demands. Our phones buzz with notifications, our minds are crowded with to-do lists, our hearts are heavy with anxieties about the future and regrets about the past. We are constantly plugged in to the matrix of worldly affairs, and this hyper-connection often leads to a deep spiritual disconnection. We are drowning in noise, and in the center of that storm, we are told to pray. So we stand on the prayer mat, but our body is there while our mind is still in the office, in the kitchen, in an argument we had, in a bill we have to pay. The initial Allahu Akbar is the spiritual switch that changes all of that. It is the conscious, the deliberate act of unplugging from the matrix. When you say those words with presence of mind, you are performing a symbolic and very real act. You are declaring that God is greater, Allahu Akbar, greater than that looming deadline, greater than that social media feed, greater than that financial worry, greater than your own ego and its endless chatter. You are, by the utterance of 2 words, casting the entire world behind your back. You are establishing a firewall between the sacred space you are about to enter and the profane world you are temporarily leaving. This established connection is not a monologue, it is a dialogue. This is another secret that transforms the experience. We often think of prayer as us asking for things, which is a part of it, but it is so much more. In Surah Al-Fatiha, which we recite in every single unit of prayer, we are engaged in a direct conversation with our Lord. When we say, "All praise is for Allah, the Lord of all worlds," He responds, "My slave has praised me." When we say, "The most compassionate, the most merciful," He responds, "My slave has extolled me." This back and forth continues throughout the entire chapter. Imagine that. The Creator of the heavens and the earth is personally, intimately responding to your recitation, to the movements of your heart and tongue in real time. You are not reciting into a void. You are being heard and acknowledged by the most attentive of listeners. This turns the prayer from a solo performance into an intimate duet. The rest of our Salah is then framed within this conversation. Our bowings, ruku, and prostrations, sujud, become the physical language of our side of this dialogue, a language of humility, gratitude, awe, and submission. And in the silence of our hearts, especially in the final prostration, we can whisper our most personal, private needs and fears, knowing with absolute certainty that we are being heard. This is the ultimate therapy session where the therapist is all-knowing, all-wise, and all-powerful, and the cost is nothing but a sincere heart. Furthermore, this connection is the one place in our lives where we can be completely, utterly, and authentically ourselves. In the world, we wear masks. We are the professional, the parent, the child, the friend. We modulate our behavior, our speech, and even our emotions to fit the situation and the people around us. We hide our vulnerabilities, our failures, our insecurities. But on the prayer mat before Allah, every mask must fall. He knows the secret you whisper and what is even more hidden. He knows the sin you committed in the darkness and the good deed you did for show. You cannot lie to Him. You cannot pretend before Him. In that space, you are stripped bare of all pretenses. You can come with a heart full of regret, and He is the oft forgiving. You can come with a spirit broken by sadness, and He is the source of peace. You can come in a state of confusion, and He is the guide. This is the safety and the relief of the connection. It is the one relationship in your life that demands no facade and offers unconditional, merciful acceptance for the repentant heart. It is where you can pour out your soul without fear of judgment from the creation, standing in the compassionate court of the Creator. Therefore, when we reduce Salah to mere physical movements, stand, bow, prostrate, sit, we rob ourselves of its transformative power. We are like a person who has been given the key to a royal treasury, but only uses it to scratch an itch. The key is meant to unlock unimaginable treasures. The postures are merely the vehicle, the connection is the journey. The true meaning of namaz is this sacred, direct, and personal hotline. It is the daily opportunity to reaffirm our true identity, not as an employee, a citizen, or a consumer, but as a servant of Allah, a abidi. And in that glorious, humble submission, we find our ultimate freedom, freedom from the tyranny of the world, from the slavery to our own desires, and from the fear of anything other than He. So, the next time you prepare for Salah, remember what you are about to do. You are not performing a ritual. You are answering a call. You are dialing into grace. You are stepping into the divine presence. You are connecting. If the first secret is understanding Salah as a divine connection, then the next logical and deeply pressing question is this: why must this connection be established 5 times a day at these specific, seemingly inflexible hours? In our modern world, where efficiency is king and time is the ultimate currency, this can feel like an immense demand, a constant interruption to the flow of our productivity and our leisure. We are conditioned to see our days as a linear path from point A to point B with tasks to be completed and goals to be achieved. From this perspective, the prayer breaks are like unexpected roadblocks, forcing us to stop, disengage, and step away from the main road of our lives. But what if we have fundamentally misjudged the map? What if the purpose of our life is not a linear journey toward worldly achievements, but a continuous spiral of spiritual ascent? From this elevated viewpoint, the 5 daily prayers are not roadblocks at all. They are, in fact, the very checkpoints and refueling stations that make the ascent not only possible, but sustainable. Their purpose is not to interrupt our day, but to recalibrate it. To understand this, we must be honest about the nature of the world we inhabit. This dunya, it is not a neutral space, it is a powerful magnetic field that actively and often relentlessly pulls us away from our center. From the moment we wake up, we are bombarded with forces that seek to redefine our purpose. The advertisement tells us our purpose is to consume. The corporate ladder tells us our purpose is to achieve and be promoted. Social media tells us our purpose is to be validated by the opinions of others. Our own anxieties whisper that our purpose is to secure our safety and accumulate more. These are powerful magnets, and without a counter force, our inner compass, the kolb or heart, which is meant to point unerringly towards its creator, becomes scrambled. It begins to point toward wealth, toward status, toward pleasure, toward fear. We wake up intending to be patient and grateful, but by mid-morning, a stressful email or a difficult interaction has thrown us completely off course. Our spiritual focus blurs, and we find ourselves reacting to the world with anger, envy, haste, or despair. This is the gradual, insidious drift that the 5 prayers are designed to correct. Each prayer, then, is a deliberate and divinely ordained recalibration session. Think of a navigator on a ship crossing a vast ocean. The navigator does not set the compass once at the beginning of the journey and then lock it in a box, hoping for the best. The ship is constantly buffeted by waves, affected by currents and pulled by magnetic anomalies. A wise navigator will constantly check the compass, making small, continuous adjustments to the course to ensure the vessel does not drift miles off track, potentially into danger. Our soul is that ship, the world is the turbulent sea, and the 5 daily prayers are those essential compass checks. Fajr is the first alignment as we launch into the day's voyage. Dhuhr is the crucial mid-day correction when the sun of worldly pressure is at its peak. Asr is the afternoon check, ensuring we haven't drifted as our energy flags. Maghrib is the recalibration at the day's end, a moment to reset as the light fades, and Isha is the final alignment before we surrender to sleep, allowing our subconscious to integrate that corrected course through the night. This is why the timings are not random. They are strategically placed throughout the natural arc of a human day, anticipating the points where our spiritual focus is most likely to waver. This process of recalibration works on multiple levels. On a cognitive level, it is a forced pause in a world that glorifies constant motion and the myth of multitasking. Salah commands us to stop everything. It is a divinely mandated mindfulness exercise. For those few minutes, you cannot answer the phone. You cannot type an email. You cannot continue the argument. You must be present in your body, in your recitation, in your movement. This act alone of stepping out of the stream of time is a powerful antidote to the frenzy of modern life. It breaks the spell of the immediate and reconnects us with the eternal. It shrinks our problems down to their proper size. When viewed against the canvas of infinity and divine power, the problem that felt like an insurmountable mountain an hour ago often feels like a manageable hill after the perspective gained in prostration. On a deeper, spiritual level, the recalibration is achieved through the very content of the prayer. Each cycle is a condensed rehearsal of the Islamic worldview. In it, we stand in humility, we bow in submission, we prostrate in ultimate love and awe. We recite verses that remind us of Allah's mercy, His justice, His absolute sovereignty, and the certainty of the hereafter. We are, in essence, reprogramming our core operating system with the truth, overwriting the false narratives of the world. When the world tells you that you are what you own, the Salah reminds you that you are a servant of God, and your true value lies in your piety. When the world tells you to fear financial collapse, the Salah reminds you that provision comes from Allah alone. When the world tells you to seek revenge, the Salah reminds you that, indeed, prayer prohibits immorality and wrongdoing. This constant rhythmic re-exposure to fundamental truth is what keeps the heart aligned. It is a spiritual inoculation against the viruses of greed, arrogance, and despair. Therefore, to see the prayers as an interruption is to misunderstand the entire nature of our existence. We are not human beings on a brief spiritual journey. We are spiritual beings embarked on a brief human experience. The primary project of our life is the orientation and salvation of our soul. Everything else, our jobs, our relationships, our endeavors, is secondary, a context within which that primary project is carried out. From this correct understanding, the 5 daily prayers are not interruptions of our important work. They are the most important work. They are the pillars that hold up the structure of our faith and our day. They are the moments we turn away from the dizzying, captivating kaleidoscope of the world to fix our gaze once more upon the North Star. They are the divine rhythm that saves us from the world's discord and noise, the steady, beating heart at the center of a life of purpose and peace.